Hey guys, Soccer from Saki Tech, and in today's video, what we are going to do is we are going to go over every single S Pen feature for your Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Now, S Pen is loaded with features. And once you are done watching this video, you are going to be a master of every single S Pen feature. I'm going to break the video into three parts. Part number one is going to be the Air Command menu, which is this one right over here. Now, there are some S Pen specific features inside the Air Command menu. I'm going to detail those so you can see exactly how they work. Next up, in part two, we're going to go to the settings. We're going to scroll down. We're going to go to advanced features and go to S Pen. And we are going to go over every single menu item from top to bottom. There's a lot of powerful features inside here as well. And finally, I'm going to give you guys some excellent note-taking tips that's going to take your note-taking to the next level with precise techniques. Take the best notes with powerful toolbars. So let's dive in and get started right away. Let's master this phone. By the way, if you decide to buy the S25 Ultra, I will drop some links down below to the lowest pricing and the best incentives for the S25 Ultra. Discount information is down in the description box. Alright, so first let's talk about one of the staple features of the S Pen, and that's going to be the Air Command menu. Now, to bring up the Air Command menu, you bring the S Pen close to the screen, but you do not touch the screen. And you can see there's a little pointer that follows the tip of your S Pen. Okay? It's almost like magic. But when you see that pointer, you can click on the button. That's this button right here, and that's going to bring up the Air Command menu. Now, this menu is in fact fully customizable, and you can change it to your specs. So let's start with that. So let's go to the settings, alright, and then you want to scroll down and go over to advanced features, and then what you want to do is you want to go into S Pen. You'll see on the top it says Air Command, and if your pen is removed from its housing at the bottom here, it's going to say remove. So let's start off with the Air Command, and then we're going to go over all the other features right here. Okay, so Air Command is right here. The first thing you want to decide is you want to decide what menu style you want. Do you want the standard menu, which when I press the button is this one, that's a larger one, or do you want something more compact? Okay, some people like compact stuff, so look at this. That's a more compact size. It even looks a little bit cooler, at least to me, but you can pick any one of these. I'm going to stick to this one for the video, just so when I press the button, you can see everything fully. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to change all the shortcuts. So you tap over here, and you can start by removing everything. Just remove everything. So now the Air Command menu is completely empty. And then you have two options. You have your built-in S Pen features right here, and then you have all your apps, installed apps. So you can decide what you want to have in your Air Command menu right over here. So let's just do a couple things here. Let's grab the Create a Note, that's important. Let's do the Screen Write. Let's do the Calendar Write. And let's do the Magnify as my S Pen features. And also let's add a bunch of shortcuts to my most used applications. So I'm going to say Calculator, Calendar, let's just say Camera. I'm just going randomly here. But I do want to show you guys there is a limitation. So if I keep adding stuff, you can see you cannot add more than 10 selections. Okay? So you can have maximum of 10 shortcuts in your Air Command menu. So now when I go back out, and if I press over here, my Air Command is fully loaded with all my 10 shortcuts. Alright? So make sure you add exactly what you want. Now going back into the Air Command menu, you can see it says Show Air Command Icon. That might be enabled by default. I don't like it, because if you enable this like that, you'll see this little pen menu you can put anywhere on the screen that you want, and you can tap it to bring the Air Command, but it is unnecessary. It is redundant. So I disable this and instead enable this, Open Air Command with the pen button. Alright, so now I press this, it just comes up. And that's basically the Air Command menu. However, inside the Air Command menu, we mentioned all these S Pen specific features right here. So I'm going to go over the important ones. These are important as well, the drawing assist and the AI select, but they are AI features, so I'm going to skip that. I'm going to show you guys the practical S Pen features. So I'm going to press the button, and on the top I've got my S Pen features. So look, create a note, very simple to the point. You tap it, it opens up the note, and you can start taking notes immediately, alright? You can pick a pen that you want, you can pick a color, you can pick a size for the pen, thick or thin, it's up to you, and you can start writing quickly. Once you're done with this note, you can do a couple things. You see that blue line on the top? You can tap it and access your quick options. You can either minimize it like this and keep it on the side. If I keep it over here, and if I'm researching something, I can quickly tap here, jot down a note, and minimize this again, and that's great for research. Or what you can do is you can tap here, you can exit out, you can maximize it. Now it's maximum screen if you just want to continue taking notes intensively. But that's that. Now after you're done, let's say you exit everything, okay? If you want to access that note, all you do is go to Samsung Notes application. Just tap in Notes, and it's going to be right here, okay? So that's the note right there, and you can continue adding to it anytime you want. So that's number one, the S Pen feature. It's the Create Note. The next one is Screen Write. So when I tap on this, it's going to take a screenshot of the entire screen, just like that, and then I can edit that screen with the S Pen. So again, I can grab a pen, and I can circle something, I can do arrows, whatever you want, okay? Maybe you are doing a screenshot of a map, and you can tell somebody to go exactly to this location. Now once you're done editing that screenshot, you can save it by tapping over here. It says Save. Or you can share it by tapping here, alright? It's going to be up to you. You can even change the size of the actual screen capture. So you can modify all that stuff, which is great. Now as an example, let's say you are at a map and you're trying to show something to somebody, okay? Again, you can tap the button, you can do Screen Write. Now that just took a screenshot of that entire area, okay? And maybe you just want to tell somebody, hey, look, we are right here, okay? Just meet us right there. And then you can save this, or you can share this as a text message to show exactly where you want them to go. Very simple example, just to give you an idea of its many uses. The next one that is pretty amazing is if I tap on the button, it's going to say Write on Calendar. So when I tap on this one, it's going to launch the calendar application, and it's ready to write on it. So I can start writing on my calendar. So I can pinch in to zoom in. Let's say it's somebody's birthday here. I can just, write that here. I can use different pens to highlight things. So let's go and get a highlighter right there. And I can just highlight that to be important. You can do whatever you want with the calendar write. Okay. Choose a color. And as you can see, I can just write anywhere I want. Okay. So, and then you tap on Save. Alright, now once you save and you go back into the Samsung Calendar application, look at this. Whatever you did stays on the screen that you wrote with the pen, which is fantastic. And also, if you are in the calendar application, you can tap this button to activate Write on the Calendar feature as well, just so you know, okay? Great little feature, makes your calendar much more realistic. And the next feature I'm going to talk about that's in the Air command, that is an S Pen specific feature, is the Magnify feature. So this is basically a magnifying glass for the screen. So if I tap it, you can see I have this little thing right here. I can move it around, alright? And I can change the magnification level to 200. And then if I bring my pen close to the screen, I get this magnifying glass on the screen. Again, you don't have to touch the screen, just hover over the screen, okay? Until you see that little pointer. So look at that, and I can go 300%. If there's something you're really trying to make out, somebody's photo, maybe that's too small, you can use the magnifier to get the details with the magnification, alright? When you're done, you simply tap on X, and it goes away. Now in the Air command, I forgot to mention this one feature right over here. So I'm going to remove one of these guys. Let me just remove the apps real quick. And I'm going to add the Translate feature in here. Okay, so I do want to show you what that is. That's a powerful tool. So let's say I was on a website reading an article and I want some translation done. Okay, so look at this. If I bring in my air command and if I tap on translate, I get this bar on the top. This bar allows me to translate anything on the page from any language to another language. So let's say I have the English language right over here and I'm going to translate this to French. I tap over here. And I can add languages, by the way. You can pick any language you want from here. Let's do French. All right, so I'm going to download that. And that should be now available as soon as it installs. It is installed. So I'm going to go out here. Okay, let's X this out. And I'm going to say French. Now look at this. If I hover over any paragraph, it's going to select that paragraph. And it's going to translate that for me to the chosen language. And the best part is, I can just copy it if I have to. Again, I can do anything. In this example, is from English to French. Now, what if I just want to translate one word and not a whole paragraph? Look at this. Here's a little button. I tap on this, and now it says T. Now I can just hover over one word, and it's going to translate that single word. So you can go from paragraph to word based on your needs. And of course, when you're done with any one of these tools, you just X out and you're good to go. Alrighty? So that's the translate tool that is also very useful. Fantastic. So those are a bunch of S Pen features connected to your Air command menu right over here. Alright? And again, there's a couple more over here. These two are simply AI features. You can play with those if you want, but they're not really S Pen specific features. The others are. Alright, so that's the Air command and Air command customization. Let's move on to the next level. Alright, so inside the S Pen settings, the next feature is known as Air View. This is my favorite feature. So let's go inside, make sure it's turned on, and then let's go inside. Okay, so it says you have the option to get previews and the pointer. Now, what's the pointer? I already talked about that. When you hover the S Pen over the screen, you will see a little pointer following the tip of the S Pen. That's exactly what that is. Okay, it just shows you where you're about to make contact with the screen. So you can turn that off if you don't want it and simply have the previews only. Now this one is one of my favorite features. Let me show you what that is. So as an example, I'm going to go to my gallery. So again, without touching the screen, I can hover over things and get previews. Look at that. I'm not touching the screen right now. Okay? So if you want to preview this right over here, hover over it, boom, you get a preview. Fantastic. And not only can you get a preview, you have these two options, and when I hover over those options, it tells me what they are: share and delete. Okay? So I know when I press that button, it can delete that photo. So here, let me show that to you. Hover. There you go. It works in so many places. So let's go to the calendar application. If I hover over here, it's going to expand that particular event. If I hover over here, look at that. Okay? It just expands something. I don't have to tap it and then, do this by mistake. I can just hover and see what's going on here. So here, eye exam. So that is the previews option. You can turn on and off. All right, I like it, so I'm going to keep it. So that's the Air View. S Pen to text, another great feature. Basically, if you see anywhere where you can type text, you can actually write text. So let me give you an example. If I go over here to my Finder, this is just a simple example. You can see there's a search bar. If I tap it normally, it brings up the keyboard. Okay, so I can actually use my S Pen to simply write in here. Okay, you see when I hover it, it shows me a writing icon. That means this field can be written on with the S Pen. So normally I tap this and I tap gallery or whatever to search for an application. With this feature, I go in here, look at this, tap, hover, and I can write gallery with my nasty handwriting. By the way, the recognition of the handwriting is exceptional. I just wrote very nasty, but it just knew exactly what I was writing. So you get the gallery right there. By the way, look at this. As I write here, okay, you also get this toolbar, smiley, space, delete, or bring back the keyboard. And that's something you can use if you're writing a text message. So if I go to my text messages, for example, let's say I want to write something. Look at that. You see the icon? So I can just start writing. I don't have to type. I can just start writing. And it's going to convert that, and it gives me a keyboard just in case. Let's say, how, okay? I'm doing it slowly, but you can write fast. It'll be fine. Or, you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you get the point. So that is, in fact, S Pen to text, and that's the toolbar that we just saw. And if you tap over here, it gives you a quick tutorial on how to edit stuff. So if you want to delete something, you can just cross on top of it, and that deletes it. And all these other options, all right? Fantastic. Then we have the when the S Pen is removed option. So do nothing, create a note, open air command. So if your pen is not removed, it's in the housing, and you pull it out, what do you want the phone to do? In my case, I have it set to do nothing, but you can have it to open automatically the air command. So if I have it like this, and I pull the S Pen from the bottom, it's just going to bring this automatically ready for you to tap on one of these options, okay? So I don't like that. You can also do create note if you want, but I'm going to do nothing, and that's it. And then we have the screen off memos, another amazing feature. So take a look at this. You're outside on the field, you're doing something, maybe work, maybe you're meeting people, whatever. If you want to take a note quickly, you don't have to turn on your phone, okay? You can just pull the S Pen out, bring it close to the screen, just hover above the screen, and tap the S Pen button once. You'll see this animation, and you can just start writing. So that's great for taking a note quickly, drawing a sketch of some architecture you saw somewhere, if you're traveling, whatever. And then you can also delete stuff, as you can see. You can change the colors. So I have 4 colors available. And you can change the size of the pen. So again, turn off the screen, bring the S Pen close to the screen, tap the button once, boom, you're ready to go. Alrighty? And what I like is, let's say you did take a note and you turn the phone off again, and then you come back and you press the button again, it brings up the same note so you can continue taking note, adding to your existing palette. Then you tap on save. When you're done, you tap on save, and that's going to save that note. All right? So now when you redo it, it's going to get you something brand new. As you can see, once you tap on save, and then you bring this close to the screen and tap the button, it gives you a fresh page. And then when you save these, all of these guys go into your Samsung Notes application. So just go Notes, tap, and it's going to be saved. That was the first one. First one, second one, third one. So just so you know where they're saved. Now, Quick Notes is a similar feature. Let me show you what that is. So with this one, let's say the screen is actually on like this, and you want to quickly take a note. Maybe an idea popped in your head or whatever, or maybe you saw something here, you want to take a note. All you do is bring the S Pen close to the screen, press the button, and double tap the screen like this. That's going to bring a quick note, and you can, again, start taking a note, and then you can save it from here, save as file, whatever. Even if you exit out, it's going to save automatically. Okay? So again, press the button, double tap the screen for a quick note. And you still have the same menu we talked about earlier. You can X out of it. But if you go to the Samsung Notes application, you will see the notes that I just took here and here with the preview. All right, let's go down and look at more S Pen settings. We have even more. Guys, if you buy multiple S Pens, you can use multiple S Pens, okay? Some people like to buy the bigger version, which looks like this. It just is easier to write on the thing. So if you want to use multiple S Pens, enable this feature so you can start using these on the phone. That's just a separate accessory you can use. You can buy many different styled S Pens. If you are a heavy note taker, some people like specific S Pens in specific sizes. You can Google that stuff, or I'll drop some links down below. So that's that. I'm going to disable that. This is the only one I use. Now this one here is warn if S Pen is left behind. Make sure this is enabled. Let's say you're outside in the cafe and you took some notes and you put your S Pen on the table and then you took your phone and you walked away. Now you just left your S Pen behind, and this thing is $50 a piece. So you don't want to forget or lose it. So if you have this option enabled, it's going to give you an audible warning. It's going to go beep beep, and then when you look at the phone, it's going to say, don't forget your S Pen. So I think you have to walk maybe 6 or 7 feet away before it starts beeping. And if you do leave it behind, at least it gives you a little hint. It says last removed date and time. So if at this time you were at the cafe or the hotel, maybe in your friend's house, at least you can pinpoint by time and date where the S Pen was last detached. And then you can go back there and get the S Pen. Alright, so make sure this is enabled. And then these two are very simple and very straightforward. Enable them both. You get sound and vibration feedback as you interact with the S Pen. So for example, if I go to my notes, look at this. When I write, you're going to hear the sound of writing. It's very low because the microphone is not going to pick it up, but you can probably hear it a little bit. Okay, that just adds a realism to the whole thing. If you disable them, you might save a little bit battery, nothing dramatic. But those are the more S Pen settings, and those are all the S Pen settings built inside our phone. Now let me show you a couple tips when it comes to note-taking, which is going to help you a lot. So let's go to the Notes application real quick. This is where most of the note-taking takes place. Now one of the things I'm going to show you guys is if you create a new note by tapping over here, there is a lot of toolbars at the bottom here. Just be aware of all these features. A couple of them that are very important is this one right here. So if you are, this is called Autofix Shapes. So if you are in the classroom, if you're a teacher, if you're an engineer, whatever, and you draw a lot of shapes, this is going to help you. If you disable this, look at this. Nasty shapes, okay? Now look at this. If I tap the button, let me make a new page. So here's a circle, 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 okay? Or I can do triangle, and it's going to self-correct to an actual triangle, okay? Rectangle, square I mean, but you can also do a rectangle. It knows what you're doing, and it self-corrects to that shape, all right? So this is going to be very useful if you draw a lot of shapes, flowcharts, whatever. We also have another feature in the toolbar at the bottom, S Pen to text. So what you can do is I can tap here, I can select the language, I can tap, now I can start writing. So if I say hi, how are you, whatever, it's going to take that S Pen and it's going to convert it to clean text. All right, so that's what the S Pen to text does. And then we also have these intelligence features. If you tap these allow you to auto format, summarize, check the spelling and grammar, translate a whole block of text. But this is all AI, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. Mostly I am interested in how you can utilize the S Pen. But if you go over here and go to the settings, you'll see at the bottom we have this toolbar add-on. Just make sure all these are enabled. This is all for S Pen. All these are going to show up in the toolbar at the bottom here. And if you hover over them one by one, you can see exactly what they are. Okay, easy writing pad. You can even have a little pad in here. So you write over here in the pad, and it just makes everything remains within a box. Here's the box. That's the pad. You can change the size. So I can start writing here, blah, 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 blah. I move it, blah, 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 blah. I move it. You can see I have that pad in which I can write. Okay, so be aware of all these fantastic tools at the bottom. And that's my final tips for some note-taking excellence. Now, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them down below. Let me know. For now, guys, have a fantastic day, all right?